Welcome to a new series of train simulator tutorials. In this series I'm going to be showing you from start to finish how to create a reskin for Train Simulator. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is get set up ready to create reskins, and in order to do this you're going to want to download and install a few pieces of software. So in your web browser of choice you want to do a search for the RS bin tool. That should take you to the Railworks America site and the RS bin tool 2013-02-22. And what you're going to want to do is, ensuring that is selected in the drop down, click on the download button, accept the license agreement before downloading, of course. And this RS bin tool essentially allows us to open up the texture files, export them as editable files, and essentially then allow us to edit those texture files in a photo editor of our choice. So when you've got that downloaded, and we show that in folder, what you can do, I use 7-zip, you can use WinRAR or any other sort of zip software alternative that takes your fancy. You can then extract the files inside that zip, and you'll notice we've now got this RS bin tool folder. Inside here is everything that RS bin tool needs to run. So what you can do is you can essentially move this RS bin tool folder to wherever you want or leave it in your downloads. It's entirely up to you. The other thing I have done is pinned the RS bin tool to my start menu so that I can access it easily, which is just here, RS bin tool. When you open it up, it will initially prompt you to set your Railworks directory. If you ever change your directory and you want to reset it, click on Tools, Options, and this is the dialog essentially that you just got on startup. Asks you to enter your default working directory and just select your language, only English supported. So once you've got that set up, essentially that means that when you click on the Open folder in the top left, it defaults to that directory that you just set up, so that you don't have to sort of go through the nested sort of Steam folders in order to get to your Railworks assets folder. So like I was saying, we use the RS bin tool in order to open up the tgpcdx texture files and export them into a editor friendly format. So once you've got the RS bin tool set up like so, we can now go back into our browser, and you're going to want to download Notepad++. At the time of recording, most recent version 7.5.8, but just download the latest version that you'll see on the site. If you've got 32-bit Windows, then you'll want the 32-bit version, and 64-bit Windows, you'll want the 64-bit version as you would with any other program. Once you've got that downloaded, you can run the installer. It doesn't take very long, it's a fairly lightweight text editor. It shouldn't take very long to install at all. And then once you've got that installed, we can now set our defaults in the Windows File Explorer. So what you can do is, if you navigate to your Railworks directory and then go to Assets, Kuju, Rail Simulator, Rail Vehicles, Diesel, Class 166, First Great Western, and the DMOCL folder, you'll be presented with this like so. And you'll notice that I've set Notepad++ there as the default text editor for DCSV files. These files, DCSV, are what stores the train numbers, the running numbers. So what you're going to want to do is to set Notepad++ as the default editor. In Windows 10, if you go right click, go to Properties, Opens With, and then whatever that is there, you click on Change. And generally, if you click on the More Apps button, Notepad++ will be in this list. If it isn't in this list, then you can click on Look for another app on this PC, scroll down to Notepad++, select the exe, and then click Open. So that is set up for the train number files, the DCSV files. What you're going to want to also do now is set serz, serz.exe, as the default for bin files. If you try and open a bin file directly in Notepad++, it will spit out a lot of really wacky formatted files. This is because bin files shouldn't be edited directly. Essentially what you're going to want to do is decode the bin file into an XML file, which can be edited, and then re-encode that XML file back into the bin file. So to do that, you're going to want to right-click the bin file, click on Properties, Opens With. You want to change that, and SIRS, it's highly likely will not be in the list of applications here. So like we just did, go to look for another app on this PC. You're going to want to go to your Railworks directory, and you're going to want to then select sirs.exe, not sirs master, just sirs, all lowercase.exe. Click on open, and that will then set bin files to open with sirs by default, which means that when you then double click to open it, you'll notice here it converts it into an XML file. If we then open that with Notepad++, you'll see a much more friendly editor format. This is essentially the main file that controls all of the loco consist, essentially, all of the sort of names, etc. So once you've edited that file, you can then open that with sirs again. So I've again properties opens with sirs, which means that when you then double click that, it will convert the XML file back into the bin file, which is what Train Simulator reads. So Train Simulator reads the bin files, and we edit the XML files, and then sirs is what decodes and then re-encodes those two file types. So essentially that is now set up to be able to edit the files and also edit the textures through the RS bin tool. The other piece of software that you're going to want is a photo editor, image editor of your choice. I use paint.net, like so. Paint.net. You can use GIMP, Photoshop, or anything that takes your fancy. It will need DDS file support though, so the .dds file extension, you can get that through plugins or just natively, but you will need support for DDS files because those are the texture files that we edit. Paint.net has this. You can get plugins and things for it for the other image editors. Yeah, once you've got your favorite image editor installed, you've got the RS bin tool, sirs, etc. all set up correctly, got Notepad++ installed, you are ready to go creating reskins. So in the next episode, I'm going to give you an overview essentially of all the files that you'll find in the DMOCL folder and indeed the rest of the assets, give you a breakdown of how it's all arranged, and then we will actually make a start on creating the reskin itself. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.